Right now, at this exact moment, there are millions of people over the age of 50 who went to the doctor last month, sat in that chair, answered every question, did every blood test, and walked out with a clean bill of health. And their liver is quietly dying. Not because their doctor is incompetent, not because they missed something obvious, but because there is a slow, silent damage happening inside the human body after 50 that does not show up on a standard checkup until it is already years into the process. And the cause is not alcohol, it is not cigarettes, it is not the fast food you already know you should avoid. It is something you ate this morning. Something that has been sitting in your kitchen for years. Something the food industry spent billions of dollars convincing you was healthy, or at the very least harmless. And the most heartbreaking part of all of this is that your body will not warn you. There will be no sharp pain, no fever, no dramatic moment that sends you to the emergency room, because your liver, unlike your heart, unlike your lungs, unlike almost every other organ you have, feels absolutely nothing. It has no nerve endings capable of sending pain signals. It cannot cry out for help. But it is whispering to you. Every single day, it is leaving clues in your body that most people over 50 wave off as just getting older, just being tired, just slowing down. And by the time those whispers become a scream, the damage can take years to undo. I need you to stay with me today, because what I'm about to show you is going to change the way you look at your breakfast, your lunch, and the food you put on the table for the people you love. And before we are done, I'm going to give you something your doctor almost certainly never gave you, a real path forward. Because here is the truth that the medical industry does not put on its pamphlets. Your liver is the only organ in your entire body that can fully regenerate itself, completely, from the inside out, but only if you stop the damage in time. So, let us talk about what is really happening. If you are watching this and you are new here, welcome. My name is John, and this channel exists for one reason only: to give you the conversation your doctor does not have time to have with you in a 10-minute appointment. The conversation that happens when someone who genuinely cares about your health sits down with you and tells you the whole truth, not the version designed to keep things simple, the version that actually protects your life. And today, I want to do something special for our community. I am going to give away an official Wellnest Health Kit to one lucky viewer. To enter, all you have to do is 3 things right now before you forget. Hit the like button below this video because it tells the algorithm that this information matters and needs to reach more people. Subscribe to the channel so that you never find yourself on the wrong side of information like this again. And leave a comment at the end. Tell me what city you were writing from, or tell me which part of today changed the way you think. That is all. I will announce the winner in our next video. Now, let us get into what you came here for. I want you to picture your liver for a moment. It lives right here, just beneath your right rib cage, tucked under your lungs, about the size of a large football. And it is, without question, the most overworked organ in your entire body. Every single drop of blood you have passes through your liver to be cleaned. Every pill you take goes through the liver first. Every chemical your body absorbs from the air, from food, from water, all of it arrives at the liver for processing. Your liver produces the bile that breaks down fat in your food. It manages your blood sugar. It stores vitamins and minerals. It manufactures proteins your blood cannot clot without. It filters toxins that would kill you if they reached your brain. Your liver is doing all of that right now while you are sitting here watching this, simultaneously, without rest, 24 hours a day. Now I want you to imagine that same liver, that same tireless factory, slowly becoming coated in a thin layer of fat. Not because of anything dramatic, not because you drink, not because you made obviously terrible choices, but because of a slow daily accumulation. A spoonful here, a glass there, a habit repeated 1,000 times over a decade. The fat builds up layer by layer. The liver keeps working because it is the most resilient thing inside you, but it works harder and harder for less and less result. The filters clog, the production slows, the signals to the rest of your body get muddled and confused. And you feel nothing. You wake up every morning and go about your life and feel absolutely nothing. Until one day, you do not feel fine anymore. And by that point, the damage is not months old, it is years old. This is what medicine calls non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, NAFLD, and the statistic attached to it should stop every person over 50 cold in their tracks. 1 in 4 adults already has it. 80% of them have no idea. It has become the single most common liver condition in the developed world, overtaking alcoholic liver disease by a massive margin. And it is being driven, more than any other single factor, by one ingredient hiding in plain sight in your daily diet. That ingredient is fructose. Not the fructose in a piece of whole fruit, where it is bundled with fiber and water and nutrients that slow its absorption dramatically. I am talking about the concentrated, processed, industrialized fructose that has been quietly poured into the food supply over the last 40 years under names designed to confuse you. High fructose corn syrup, corn sugar, fruit juice concentrate, crystalline fructose, agave syrup, which the health industry marketed as a natural alternative while being almost entirely fructose, and plain table sugar, which is 50% fructose in every single gram. And before you tell me you do not eat much sugar, I need you to hold that thought, because this is exactly where the food industry wins every time. When we think of sugar, we think of dessert. We think of candy and soda and birthday cake. We do not think of the foods that feel responsible, that feel like choices a health-conscious person would make. But those are exactly the foods I need you to look at today. The fruit juice you pour every morning, even the one that says 100% natural on the label, can contain more sugar per glass than a can of soda. The whole wheat bread you switch to because your cardiologist recommended it. The low-fat yogurt you eat for breakfast because you're watching your weight. And when manufacturers remove the fat, they replace every gram of it with sugar to keep it tasting good because fat-free food tastes like cardboard without it. The tomato sauce you pour over your pasta on a Tuesday night. Many of the leading brands contain more sugar per serving than a chocolate chip cookie. The breakfast cereal with the heart health symbol on the box, awarded by an organization partially funded by the cereal industry. The granola that feels virtuous, the protein bars, the salad dressings, especially the fat-free ones, the marinades, the soups, the flavored oatmeal packets, the sports drinks, the vitamin waters. This is not junk food. This is Tuesday. This is the average person over 50 eating what they believe are reasonable, responsible, healthy choices. And the fructose is accumulating in their liver every single day. Here is why fructose is specifically catastrophic in a way that other sugars are not. Glucose, the other half of regular sugar, can be used by every cell in your body. Your muscles burn it, your brain runs on it, your heart uses it. Glucose is a fuel that gets distributed across your entire system, but fructose is different. Fructose can only be metabolized by one organ in the human body, your liver. Every single gram of fructose you consume goes directly and exclusively to your liver for processing. And when your liver receives more fructose than it can use for immediate energy, it has exactly one option available. It converts that fructose into fat, liver fat, stored directly in the liver cells themselves. And now here's the part that changes everything for people over 50 specifically. Between the ages of 40 and 60, your liver's metabolic rate begins to slow down measurably. The enzymes responsible for processing fructose become less efficient. The liver's capacity to convert and export that fat decreases. Research published in leading hepatology journals has shown that after 50, the liver can process fructose up to 40% less efficiently than it could at 35. 40%, which means the glass of orange juice that your liver handled without complaint when you were younger is now, at 55, a fundamentally different assault on the same organ. And because nothing hurts, you never know it is happening. Now I want to show you something important. I want to show you the 7 signs that your liver is already struggling. Because even though the liver cannot scream, it does whisper. And once you know the language, you will never be able to unhear it. I want you to listen to all 7 of these carefully, because some of them are things you have been blaming on age for years. The 7th sign is a fatigue that sleep cannot fix. Not ordinary tiredness, not the kind that goes away after a good night's rest. This is a dense, heavy, bone-deep exhaustion that is there when you wake up and still there by noon. You sleep 8 hours and you open your eyes feeling like you already worked a full day. When the liver is overburdened with fat deposits, it works at an enormous metabolic cost just to perform its basic functions. It draws energy from the rest of your body to compensate, and the result is a systemic tiredness that coffee cannot touch and rest cannot resolve. If you have been explaining your constant fatigue away as just aging for the last year or two, your liver may be asking you to pay attention. The sixth sign is bloating and heaviness after meals that feel disproportionate to what you ate. Your liver is the organ responsible for producing bile, the substance that your digestive system uses to break down dietary fat. When the liver is compromised by fat accumulation, its bile production becomes sluggish and insufficient. Food takes longer to digest. Fat sits in your stomach longer than it should. The result is that uncomfortable, swollen, full feeling that comes on even after a modest meal. Millions of people over 50 are taking antacids every day, managing what they assume is an acid problem or a stomach problem, when the origin of that discomfort is actually a liver that is struggling to support digestion. The fifth sign is waking up with a bitter or metallic taste in your mouth, or feeling mildly nauseated in the mornings before you have eaten anything. When the liver is under sustained stress, its regulation of bile flow becomes erratic. Bile can back up into the upper digestive tract during the night. You wake up with that bitter taste and assume it is something you ate. But if it happens consistently, if it is there most mornings when you open your eyes, your liver is trying to communicate something to you in the only way it knows how. The fourth sign is something I need you to think about carefully, because this is the one that almost everyone over 50 has experienced and almost no one connects to the liver. It is the inability to lose weight no matter what you do. You reduce your portions, you cut carbohydrates, you walk more, you try every reasonable approach, and the scale does not move, or it moves and then snaps back. Your clothes fit the same way they always have. Here is what is happening. One of the liver's primary responsibilities is regulating fat metabolism for the entire body. It produces proteins that transport fat through the bloodstream. It regulates insulin sensitivity. When the liver is fatty and sluggish, it becomes insulin resistant. And when your liver is insulin resistant, your body loses its ability to burn stored fat efficiently. You can eat less and move more and still not lose weight because the problem is not calories. The problem is a liver that has lost its ability to function as the master regulator of your metabolism. If you have been blaming your willpower for years of failed weight loss attempts, please understand that it was not a character flaw. It was a biochemical obstruction that nobody told you about. The third sign is itching on the skin with no visible rash, particularly on the arms, legs, or the soles of the feet. This one surprises people. When the liver is struggling to filter the blood efficiently, certain compounds called bile salts can accumulate in the bloodstream and eventually deposit under the skin. The result is an itching sensation that has no external cause, no rash, no dryness, no insect bite, just an itch that comes from the inside. If you or someone you love has been dealing with unexplained skin itching, especially in the evening, this is a sign that deserves a conversation with a doctor as soon as possible. The second sign is pain or a dull, aching pressure in the upper right side of your abdomen, just under the rib cage. Earlier, I told you the liver has no nerve endings and cannot feel pain. That is true of the liver tissue itself. But the liver is enclosed in a capsule, a thin membrane that surrounds it. When the liver swells due to fat accumulation and inflammation, that capsule stretches, and the capsule does have nerve endings. The result is a dull, persistent ache or a feeling of pressure in the upper right abdomen. Many people feel it most after eating a fatty meal. Many people have lived with this sensation for months and described it to their doctor as a vague digestive discomfort. If you feel that pressure right now as you watch this, please do not dismiss it. And the first sign, the one I have saved because it is the most telling and the most consistently overlooked, is yellowing of the whites of the eyes. Not a dramatic, obvious yellow, a subtle pale yellowing that most people notice in photographs before they notice it in the mirror, or that a spouse or friend points out before the person sees it themselves. This is called jaundice, and it occurs when the liver can no longer process bilirubin, a yellow compound produced when old red blood cells break down, efficiently enough to prevent it from accumulating in the bloodstream. When bilirubin reaches the tissues, including the whites of the eyes, it tints them yellow. This is not a whisper anymore. This is the liver raising its voice. If you see this in yourself or in someone you love, do not wait. See a doctor this week. Now, I need to tell you something, and I need you to really hear it. If you recognized yourself in any of those signs, I am not asking you to panic. Panic does not help your liver. What I am asking you to do is take a breath, because what I'm about to tell you is the most important thing in this entire video. Most people who experience those symptoms never connect them to the liver. They attribute them to stress, to age, to 100 other things. And many of them, when they finally do get tested, receive a diagnosis that terrifies them. But then something remarkable happens. The doctor tells them that their liver, despite everything, still has a fighting chance. Because here is the biological miracle that your body is sitting on right now. Your liver is the only solid organ in the human body capable of complete regeneration. If you remove 60% of a mouse's liver surgically, it will regrow to its original size within 2 weeks. Human liver cells, called hepatocytes, replicate and regenerate in response to damage in a way that no other organ can match. A liver that is in the early to moderate stages of fatty liver disease, even one that has been accumulating damage for years, can show measurable improvement in as little as 8 to 12 weeks when the right conditions are created. The key phrase there is the right conditions, and that is exactly what I want to give you now. But first, I need to tell you about something that changes everything for people who are scared they might already have this. Because not every set of symptoms that looks like fatty liver disease is fatty liver disease. Not every foggy brain, not every unexplained fatigue, not every bloated morning is the liver under long-term assault. Some of it is something else entirely, something much simpler. Something that a single blood test can identify and a doctor can address in a matter of weeks. Chronic inflammation driven by nutrient deficiency, particularly deficiencies in choline, vitamin E, and vitamin D, can produce a set of symptoms nearly identical to early fatty liver disease. Choline, a nutrient found primarily in eggs and liver, is essential for the liver's ability to export fat out of its cells. When choline levels are low, fat accumulates in liver cells, not because the liver is damaged, but because it lacks the raw material to do its job. Supplementing with choline, under a doctor's guidance, has been shown in clinical studies to measurably reduce liver fat within weeks. Before you decide you have fatty liver disease, please get a blood test, a complete metabolic panel, a liver function test, and a nutritional panel. Let the numbers tell you where you actually stand. And if the numbers do show early fatty liver disease, here are the 3 things that the science consistently shows can genuinely turn this around. Not supplements with impossible promises, not detox teas. 3 evidence-based, practical changes that you can begin tomorrow morning. The first is to eliminate liquid fructose from your life completely. Not reduce it, eliminate it. Juice, soda, sweetened coffee drinks, energy drinks, sports drinks. Every one of these delivers a concentrated fructose hit directly to your liver with no fiber to slow it down. Whole fruit is different. A piece of fruit contains fiber that fundamentally changes how the fructose is absorbed. The juice of that same fruit, stripped of fiber, is a different biological substance entirely. If you do nothing else after watching this video, pour out the juice, drink water, drink unsweetened tea. Your liver will begin to respond within days. The second is to add one specific food to your diet every single day. Eggs, specifically the yolk. The egg yolk is the richest dietary source of choline on Earth. Choline is the compound that tells liver cells to package and export their fat content rather than store it. Decades of research have demonstrated that adequate choline intake is one of the strongest dietary protectors against fatty liver disease. The advice to avoid egg yolks because of cholesterol concerns has been quietly revised by the scientific community over the last 15 years.
The evidence for dietary cholesterol causing heart disease was never as strong as it was presented to be. But the evidence for choline protecting your liver is substantial and consistent. Eat 2 whole eggs a day. Your liver will thank you for it.
The third change is the one that feels the simplest and has the most profound effect. Walk for 30 minutes after dinner. Not a run, not a gym session, a walk. Research out of leading universities has shown that a 30-minute walk taken specifically within 90 minutes of eating your largest meal of the day reduces the liver's fat processing burden significantly. Physical activity in the period after a meal activates muscle cells to absorb glucose and fructose that would otherwise arrive at the liver in a concentrated wave. It spreads the load. It gives the liver room to breathe. It is the single most underrated and most accessible liver protective intervention that exists, and it costs nothing. My friends, your liver has been working for you every single day of your life without a single day off, without a single complaint, quietly absorbing the consequences of decisions you made without knowing their impact. It has protected you longer than you know. And the extraordinary gift it carries is the ability to heal, to rebuild, to restore itself if you give it what it needs and stop feeding it what is slowly breaking it down. If someone you love is over 50, if your mother or your father, your husband or your wife, your brother or your sister is sitting somewhere right now drinking juice in the morning and going to bed exhausted every night, please share this video with them. There are people right now who are being told their memory problems, their fatigue, their weight gain, their inexplicable discomfort is just aging. And for some of them, it is a liver that has never been given a real chance to recover. This information could change what happens next for someone you love. Hit the share button, send it to your family group right now, not because I'm asking you to promote a channel, because somewhere in your circle of people, there is someone whose liver is whispering and nobody around them knows how to listen. Leave your comment below. Tell me what sign surprised you the most. Tell me what you are going to change tomorrow. Tell me where you're watching from. I read every single one. I will see you in the next video. Take care of yourself. Take care of the people around you, and take care of the most resilient, most forgiving, most extraordinary organ you were given. Your liver has been patient with you. Now it is your turn to be patient with it.